Hi, Aries, or anyone watching for Aries. This is your August love reading. If you are watching for Aries, just reverse the roles as it will feel as though I'm speaking to you about your Aries. So I've got cards for past, present, future advice, the person in your energy, as well as yourself. Let's take a look at the bottom of the deck. We're starting with the Emperor in the reverse. Give me just 1 second here to see what has been going on with you. Okay, I see a love offer. This is after a period of making some changes in your life, finding some footing. What happened with this? Okay, someone was trying to be your friend, is what this looks like. And you didn't want to be a friend. You wanted to be in a relationship, is what I'm seeing here. It feels like because this offer came in a way that you didn't want, you decided to do something else with someone else, is what I'm seeing. Some of you just decided to work on yourself and be single, but this is looking like, to me, whoever this person was that offered friendship to you, you didn't want it because you either wanted to be with them or you offered them friendship and they didn't want it. It could go either way. But that person had deep feelings for you or you had deep feelings for them. And so I think it was just too difficult to stay in one another's space. It looks like this could be an ex or someone you spent considerable time with. It made you feel uneasy, the idea of just being friends with this person. So even if you were the one that offered friendship, I think deep down you did want to have this person fall back in love with you, or you wanted to fall back in love with them. It seems like the relationship was never able to go the distance. Maybe it was a secret relationship or it just never led to commitment. There's an energy of feeling disappointment around the way things happened. I think that with this Emperor in the reverse, you were hoping that if you could have some kind of friendship with this person, or they were hoping that if they could have friendship with you, um, you would be able to build like a better foundation of friendship between the two of you. So this could have been something that was like really sex based, is what this is looking like to me. But there wasn't much of a foundation of like trust or where can we take this in the future. You both knew you enjoyed each other's company. You both saw one another as like partner, but for some reason, either it was never discussed or when it was discussed, it just never went anywhere. I feel like at the time you were dealing with this person, it's like one step forward, two steps back. It feels as though there was always kind of this fear of settling down coming from one of you for sure, if not both of you, but it was for different reasons. So one person was afraid to settle down because they thought that their person was still in love with someone else or really like focused on the past. The other person was afraid to settle down because they wondered almost like if there was something they were missing out on, or if it's not something that they're missing out on, there's almost a fear of settling for this version of you, or you settling for this version of them and it never getting better. So it's kind of the energy of like, I'd rather wait until you grow more. I'd rather wait until you release some things in your life that are affecting our connection, that are toxic, whether you had addictions or this person had addictions. You could be dealing with someone who has prominent Aries in their chart, because it's almost like I'm seeing both sides of the situation as though both parties are watching this reading. So it makes me wonder if you are dealing with someone who has Aries in their Venus, in their big three, because I'm getting two messages, like the message from the person watching, and then, another message for a person watching. But it's almost like both sides of the situation are coming through equally strong. So I'm just trying to make sure that I'm articulating this in a way that makes sense. And you're going to have to pick which side you're on simply because they're equal to me, what I'm seeing here. It's like someone was afraid that if they settled for what a person was bringing right now, it would never get better. It would never change. It would just always feel non committal. They'd always feel like they were hidden or a secret and like they were waiting to be acknowledged, is what this is saying here. Okay. So you could be the person who offered friendship, or you could be the person who friendship was offered to. But it feels like either way, it doesn't really make a difference because the outcome was the same. The friendship was declined, right? Based on the fact that I think deep down, neither one of you truly wanted to be friends. But what I'm seeing here is one person was offended by the offer of friendship because they felt like that was a way to keep the door open for someone else, right? Like, oh, you just want to be my friend so that if this ex comes back around, you can go be with them. And the person who offered friendship felt offended that it was declined simply because to them that was their way of trying to rebuild the relationship in a different way than they had in the past. Okay. So as I'm looking into your spread for your past energy, I'm seeing 10 of Pentacles reversed, Wheel of Fortune reversed. So this is very much the energy of feeling like you're missing out, but also not really knowing what you're missing out on, right? Being very clear about the fact that the pattern that you've seen is showing you that there may not be the potential that you thought there was, right? Feeling as though you're in a connection, but you're also very alone in this connection. Feeling like you need to kind of start looking at the signs that you've been seeing. Like, is this going to go anywhere? Am I really missing out on anything if I leave this behind? Feeling like you need to make the choice that's best for you, especially because the person that's coming up in your energy is Knight of Cups in the reverse. So I feel like this is someone who has a really hard time expressing their emotions, right? This could be the person who just said, like, let's be friends with no context, and it made you feel as though you weren't desired by that person, right? This could very well be the person who decided that they didn't want to be friends because to them they were still very much in love with you. And that's what I was saying. It's almost like there's 50-50 for the Aries watching, right? Partner A and partner B seem to both have some kind of Aries in their chart. Moving forward to the present, I'm seeing the Fool in the reverse with the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. So this is weird because regardless of what side of the situation you're in, neither one of you have been able to create what you wanted so bad back here, right? If you're dating other people, it seems like it's not going anywhere. If the person on your mind is with someone else, they're looking at ending that situation because they feel as though they'd like to try to manifest another opportunity with you again. And if you're dating someone else, perhaps you're feeling that it's not going anywhere and you're ready to end the situation as well because you are facing the past, right? It's like both of you, regardless of what you're doing or who you're doing it with, you're not feeling like there's stability where you are, right? You're not feeling like what you want is happening. And it's the energy of feeling as though you don't want to put work into something that you don't want to be stuck in. That's coming through very strongly. So for those of you who are on the side of like, I went and dated someone else, as time is going by, you're looking at this person and you're like, I could stay and I could do this, but I don't want to put all this effort into like fixing this or building this because this just isn't where I want to be, right? This doesn't feel like exciting. There's a lack of excitement in wherever you are right now. For those of you who decided to be single, it feels like you're just really focusing on getting your own like wealth up, paying debt. Some of you are working on your fitness or you're trying to achieve goals that will like propel you forward so that you can have more stability within yourself and within your own life. And for those of you who are not dating, what I'm seeing is it's almost like you just know that whoever this person is is not happy wherever they are, and that eventually they'll come back. And so it's almost like you're using this time to get what you need for yourself. Perhaps you were the person who offered friendship and you just wanted to like build stability. You were very focused on like not the tangible, but just more safety, security. And when this person didn't get on board with that, you decided to just be that for yourself, so that you could not only have those things for yourself, but to have evidence when this person tries to reach out, and you can say, like, this is why I wanted to just be friends, because look at all the things I've been able to accomplish. Look at all the things I've been able to do. Had you followed suit, we would have worked our way back to one another and we would have been better candidates for a relationship, or we would have been healthier for each other, versus staying in this Wheel of Fortune energy where we both want things that we don't know how to create, and we're both arguing over whose job it is to do what, and you always and you never, and why aren't you meeting me halfway, and where's the commitment, and I feel like I'm by myself, right? There's an energy here of being proactive for those of you who are single and working on yourself, right? There is an Aries coming through here that ended up trying to date other people, and like I said, that's not working. They rushed into a relationship. They gave a lot very quickly, and they're seeing that what they're getting back isn't worth what they gave. So that person, if you're the Aries in a relationship, or you're watching for an Aries that's in a relationship, I'm seeing that they are questioning their life choices at this time, right? They're thinking about rescinding whatever offer they've created with this newer energy, because to them it's just not worth it. It's not where they want to be, right? So kind of an interesting message so far. Like I said, I feel like there's some of you who are watching and your Aries is in a relationship, and so you're like cross watching. Some of you just do have Aries and you're dealing with an Aries. And so it's representative of your situation as well as their situation, because there's a lot of duality in this reading. And then there's like that person who decided to stay single, whose energy is also wanting to be represented here. So just try to bear with me as I'm articulating this, because I'm getting some pretty different messages, but I want to make sure that I'm representing all of the messages that are coming through. As far as your future, you have Strength reversed, and for why you have Chariot reversed. And we have to take into context, this Emperor in the reverse, this is you, Aries, right? So regardless of which camp you're in, it feels like Aries this month is very much pulling back their energy, because it's time to reconnect, right? Reconnect to self, reconnect to source, figure out a new plan. Wherever all of you are with your Four of Wands in the reverse, there's an energy of feeling like it's not where you want to be, right? Something's missing. This is not resonating with me anymore. It's just maybe conflict is kind of what this is coming through as, but it's not conflict that is dire and like destructive. It's more conflict that's stupid and annoying to the point that you are feeling foolish for even having to deal with it at all, right? I feel like there's an energy of like petty squabbling wherever you are, for those of you who ended up in a relationship. And for those of you who are not in a relationship, perhaps you're just starting to feel the urge to get up and go, right? It's time to move. It's time to get back in the game, because I'm seeing that there's been a period of maybe like sequestering yourself, or not being open to experiences or new energy. There's this big feeling of like, if I can't figure this out, what could I do going forward? Like, how could I build a relationship with anyone when I couldn't build a relationship with the one, right? When I was shuffling your oracle deck, I saw twin flames in here. So it's very possible that you're in a twin flame dynamic, and it's like, okay, everything should have gone so easy with this person. We clicked on so many levels. We thought the same. We had the same sense of humor. If it can't work with someone who seems like on paper and just like in general, they're my perfect match, why would it work with someone who I have so many opposing viewpoints, right? Or different life experiences with? Like, there's an energy of feeling like if it couldn't work when it seemed like it should have been the easiest situation, why would it work when you're like trying to fit puzzle pieces that don't fit, right? And I feel like that's kind of the realization that whoever was emotionally available is having. So it's very possible that the emotionally unavailable person that didn't see the value in friendship, or maybe they offered friendship, but they didn't give a reason why, they are going through this where they're looking at where they are and they're like, wow, this person is just not my match. I don't even know what I'm doing here. What is the point of this? Right? Whereas it seems like the person who was more uh, thinking about stability and creating a new foundation, they're realizing that there's something missing from where they are. There's something that needs to change. And I'm not sure what that is. So let me take a look at that. It could just be the living situation. It also seems like perhaps the fact that it seems like the two of you are not really in communication is really getting to this person over here. There's kind of this energy of like whoever was working really hard on themselves, they were doing it for themselves, but they were also very much doing it for this reunion or this return. And now that it feels like that might not happen because I'm not seeing any communication between the two of you, it's like the person who is working very hard on themselves is starting to lose steam because they need a sign. It's like, give me a sign that the person I love is still thinking of me. Give me a sign that that person still may return to me, right? And for those of you who are asking for that sign, I am seeing your person returning to you. They just might not be as evolved as you are, or they might not, like, had they taken the time to work on themselves the way you have, they would be in a better place. But instead, it looks like they created something with someone else that they're trying to navigate and get out of. And so you'll have the success of being able to see this person like wants to be a part of your future, right? And so that should be able to give you some more steam for whatever it is that you're facing. But the difficulty is the person who decided to pour into other people instead of pour into themselves, they're coming towards you just as depleted as they were when they left. And it's like you would have to be the one to build them up, right? Versus had they worked on their stuff and you worked on your stuff and then you came back together. I do feel like this person will be returning to you because they're also feeling a loss here. They feel a loss with you not in their life. They're realizing that they made some decisions that didn't get them where they wanted to be. What's interesting though is that I feel like with the strength reversed, you'll be mirroring one another in the future. And that's what I'm thinking, like this has to be some sort of twin flame connection, because it's like you're both getting to your wits end, but in different ways, right? For you, you're like, or could be you because there's two different storylines. One of you is like, just give me a sign that this person is going to come back into my life and that'll make this all worth it. And the other one of you is like, I can't stand the relationship I'm in. I can't stand what I've chosen for myself, but also I don't feel like I have options because my person only wants to be my friend, right? So it's like you're both losing patience with the universe or source. You're both, it's like the longer you're apart, the more you both, I don't want to say create drama in your lives. That's not exactly what I'm seeing. It's more like the longer the two of you are apart, the more you want to come back together, the more you realize that, you know, you will make that person happy. They realize you make them happy. You realize they make you happy, whatever. But it's also like the longer you're apart, the more frustrated you become with your own lives. It's coming through as like you're the best thing in this person's life. They're one of the best things in your life. And maybe for those of you who decided to really work on yourself, that was a big part of why, is like, if this person is the best thing in my life, and I don't know that they're going to stay, I can't give somebody that kind of power over me, right? I have to create some other things for myself so that I'm not so vulnerable to this situation. I'm not riding the ebbs and flows emotionally because I have other things in my life that I need to show up for that are keeping me grounded, right? The two of you, it's very interesting because in this, both of these decks, my strength card is 11. Sometimes in other decks, it's in different places. But both of you, it's like whatever you're trying to do, you're realizing that it's not working, right? There's something missing from everything you're doing, both of you, because you don't know why you're doing it in a way, right? You both had to separate because you have an opportunity to think and to end something in each of your lives that's been keeping this commitment or this relationship from moving forward. So for one of you, you need to end the fear of like missing out, hiding your true self to keep other people in your life. And the other one of you, wow, it's basically the same. It's like you're both really afraid of this connection, right? There's one person who's so afraid that if they show their true self, if they take inspired action to go after the other person, it won't work. And then the other person is afraid of like, once we're together, will it work? Or will they leave? So I can understand what the issue is here, because one of you has a hard time with starting, and then the other one of you has a hard time with staying, right? So the beginning and the middle, you both struggle with, but you're both very good at ending the situation, right? That's kind of sad, but it's what I'm seeing is like you're both very good at ending. You're both very good at walking away. You're both very good at getting stuck. If one person starts and that begins, this person gets triggered. If things are going well, but there's no foundation, if we try to talk about the foundation, this person gets triggered. But as long as there's no foundation, this person who's in the Eight of Swords and always worrying, they don't feel like they have enough information to go on to feel safe within the connection. And so they get triggered, right? It's very, like I said, like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, because your trigger points are at different places, but it makes it almost impossible to be able to move the connection forward. And that's why your Chariot is in the reverse. What's interesting is that because both of you want to be in each other's space so badly, you may end up putting your hands up and being like, you know what? Nothing's going to come of this. Nothing is going to happen. But I want to see this person so bad, right? This Ace of Wands person, they might take that initiative of like, okay, I'm just gonna go for this. I don't have a plan. I just want to know what's going on with them. I want to see them, right? It looks like there's potential to have like a one night stand this month, or at the very least some sort of like face to face meeting, even though the two of you don't think it's the best thing to do. And what's interesting is the person who's going to try to get this meeting to happen, they don't want to talk about emotions, right? They don't want to talk about how they feel or how you feel or what's been going on. They just want like to be in your space, or you could be the one that's taking this initiative and you just really feel pulled to be in your person's space. And so it's almost like maybe I can start this if I leave the emotion out of this. If we don't talk about why things ended, if we don't talk about how it's felt to be apart, maybe if we can just be in this exact moment and keep this vibe, right? We could be able to have like a good meetup or a good hangout. The problem is that life isn't static and people can't stay in the same place forever, and eventually one of you is going to want to know, where is the situation going, right? Because basically whoever this is that ends up taking that like risk of saying, hey, I want to see you, they would like to keep it in this 10 of Pentacles reverse, Wheel of Fortune reversed, because to them it's like, if this is the best I can have, I just want this person so bad, I would actually take this, I'm okay with this. If this is all I can have with this person, I just want them, I want them so bad, I would settle for that, right? There needs to be a perspective shift, because I believe that the two of you really could have it all, but you have to face your fears, right? Face the fear of beginning and face the fear of staying, and that's not going to happen by moving back to this 10 of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune reverse energy, because this is just recreating what's already been, right? And it's very triggering to both of you. But whoever is making this action, they just miss their person so much they don't even care. It's like, I just want to see you. I don't even care about our problems. I don't want to talk about them, like whatever, right? Let's get some information about that. Yeah, so that would actually lead to both of you not getting what you want and feeling the same frustration that you felt in the past. Does that mean that this meeting won't happen? No, not necessarily, right? I see that you could do this, or you could give to this if you wanted, but I also Wheel of Fortune reverse. I don't know. I feel like it's just gonna go back to the two of you feeling like this could never work, right? Feeling frustrated. I don't think you understand each other's point of view, because it's like, why is this so hard for you? Like, this is not hard for me. This isn't hard for other people. Why do you have such a problem with this one part of like life, right? Of relationships. Let's look at your advice, because what I'm seeing here is I don't want to like down your hangout, but it's actually showing that this would end in like an argument, because there's still a lot below the surface that needs to be discussed. And if anything, it would set you back, because if you've had a long period from this person, like apart from this person, seeing them and then trying to pretend like everything's fine when both of you have had experiences and feelings around like everything that's been going on, it's going to feel very inauthentic. It's going to feel like it's not resonating with who either of you are. And you'll actually feel bitter towards this person, and they may feel some like bitterness towards you, because they can't be themselves and you can't be yourself, right? So if anything, it would compound the problems that I'm seeing that the two of you have. Not if you get together with this person, but if you try to recreate what you've had. Like, you're going to have to find a way to break out of that same paradigm, or that same like cyclical relationship where it always ends the same, it always looks the same. And until you both do, nothing will move. You're just going to start uh, hating each other or having a lot of animosity towards each other, but still desiring each other. And then that's just such a mess, because what do you do with that, right? It's like, when people love and hate each other at the same time, it's because of reasons like this, right? I feel like if you both could get to the bottom of your fears with this Ace of Cups in the reverse, the hard part is like there's so much hidden emotion. And this Ace of Cups in the reverse often talks about like the initial wound, right? That makes love difficult. So let's see what that is for party A and party B. Okay, party A. Okay, here we go. Party B. Okay, so whichever one is you, it doesn't matter, but you will know. Party A either witnessed a parent stay in a relationship that needed to end, and like their parent continued to like be silly or stupid for their partner, to the point that they would ignore like all their red flags, they would ignore their bad behavior. They never put themselves or even you as a child first. And so there's this like feeling from this person that's like deeply heartbroken about the way things went. Like, if my mom would have left my dad, my life would have been so much better. Or, if my dad would have left my mom, my life would have been so much better. Or, why wasn't my happiness as a child enough for my parent to leave this bad situation, right? And so that's kind of this core fear, is staying in a situation too long, ignoring the red flags because you love someone so much that you're willing to put yourself in bad situations, right? That might be something that this person promised to themselves that they would never do. They would never ignore the instability. They would never ignore the disrespect. They would never keep giving second chances, because even working on things, it's a fine line between working on problems and tolerating bad behavior or enabling your abuser, right? This must be the person who has the problem with staying, because to them it shows like a lack of wisdom, or it's like you're being a fool for your partner. This is what I saw growing up, right? My parent didn't show up for me because they were a fool for their partner. Okay, so this is the person who has a problem with staying. Now the person who has a problem with beginning, let's see their core wound. Okay, so this person's problem is that whoever they've had relationships with, as soon as they get into a relationship with that person changes. And so their experience is a little bit different, because it's like, if I would have stayed being their friend, we could have been friends forever. If I would have not put a title on it, we could have like lived together forever and had a physical relationship. But as soon as I gave this person like a title or a commitment, that's when all the arguing started. That's when other people started getting in our business, whether it was like family drama from that person's, like, say that person's mother or sisters, started kind of coming at whoever this is, like, well, you're my sister's boyfriend now, so yeah, I can voice my opinion, right? There's something about like, once this person gives their word, not only do things change in such a way that it creates so much conflict and everyday arguing, but there's also an energy of them being the kind of person that if they say they're going to be something to someone, they will be that thing, regardless of how it affects them, regardless of how their partner slanders them, cheats on them, whatever they do. This is the person that will stay and stay and stay. And they know that about themselves. So they're very, very cautious about what they like actually commit to, because they don't have it in them to leave. They have a really hard time standing up for themselves, or like they can stand up for themselves in like an argument, but they have a really difficult time setting a boundary and cutting people out of their life when people are disrespecting them, right? Because they've given their word that they'll be there. They've made this commitment, right? And so what's interesting is like the two of you with this death in the bottom of the deck, your wound is triggering to one another because this person will stay and stay and stay, but they can't commit to anything because they know that they're never going to leave. Whereas this person doesn't have a problem with committing to things, but they will leave at the drop of a hat because they don't want to be someone who stays and stays regardless of what happens, right? And so it's interesting to me because it's very possible that this person over here witnessed parents who didn't fight for their relationship or didn't fight for them, right? Who gave up on them so easily instead of loving unconditionally in their mind. That's what unconditional love looks like, is putting up with bad behavior. They feel like had someone committed to them, right, their life would be so different. Had their first relationship of love coming from a mom or dad, had that person been willing to fight for them, they wouldn't have had to do everything on their own. They would have had that sense of support, right? And so this is somebody who takes commitment very serious because they don't want to be like whoever it was that they feel like didn't come through for them or commit to them. They don't want to be the person that they feel like gave up or didn't fight. But this person over here is like, I'm not fighting for anything because I see what it looks like when I stay somewhere, right? I'm not trying to fight to keep someone who doesn't want to be kept. Whereas over here, if someone isn't willing to fight, it triggers this person because it's like, you're not willing to fight for me. You don't care, right? You're not willing to go the distance with me, So why would I commit to you if you're just gonna leave, right? And then over here, it's like, why would I stay for someone who won't commit, And so if you can get past these core wounds that you both carry, that this is a big part of each of your personalities. This person over here may talk about loyalty and honor, and, they may have a bunch of weird friends that they always show up for no matter what, because they gave that person their friendship or they gave that group of people their friendship. Whereas this person over here, they talk very much about like seeing the truth of situations and knowing when it's time to block somebody or to fall back or to, not match energy, because I don't even feel like this is someone who matches energy. I feel like this is someone who, as soon as there's like smoke, there's fire. So just no, we're just gonna put this out right now, right? And so both of your personalities are so wrapped around your beliefs that it's very interesting that the two of you are twins, right? Twin flames, because you're the complete opposite, and your core wounds will just continue to trigger one another until this person can realize that it's okay to set boundaries after commitment, right? And this person can realize that it's okay to work on things and it doesn't make you weak. And you can still have the boundary of leaving when things get toxic, right? You're both on such different ends of the spectrum that you would have to do a complete 180 to understand that if this is ever going to move forward, these themes need to be addressed, right? These themes need to be challenged and they need to be restructured, is how I'll say that. You both need to heal, right? You both need to heal. This person needs to show up for themselves. And I bet you 2-1, this is the person who, instead of working on themselves, decided to end up in a relationship. And now they're not happy where they are because they've recreated the same thing. This person needs to stop working on themselves because they're not willing to integrate other people in their lives. And I bet you anything, this is the person that offered the friendship, because to them, they were very practical and they're like, if we can be stable, we can make this work. And if you don't want to be my friend, then I'm going to just make sure that I stack my money so that the next relationship I'm in, if it breaks bad, I can leave in the night because I have $10,000 in the bank, right? Pretty interesting here. But what I feel like is that If this person can start showing up for themselves, and if this person can be more open to like integrating someone into their life, this would actually work. It's just going to take baby steps, right? It's going to take baby steps. And I think that in this separation, remember how I said that both of you are strength reversed, so you both have an opportunity to end something in your life. The person who just wanted to work on themselves, I feel like they will have created enough stability that they feel safe to be more vulnerable. I feel like this person who feels like everybody gives up on them, they're going to have to choose themselves over the relationship they're in, because this person, what's weird about them is they don't show up for themselves. They want other people to show up for themselves. And for them, the way they try to get people to show up for them is by like giving it all away, right? When in reality, they need to give it to themselves. And so I think this person is going to end up attracting relationships and situations where they have to learn that people treat you how you treat yourself, right? If this person could give to themselves, people would follow suit rather than them giving everything and hoping for something back in return, right? But it seems like this whole situation is an opportunity for the two of you to heal yourselves. So when you have this meeting with this person, you need to approach it in a different way because you're not the same people. So you can't create what these past versions of you created, right? You're going to need to show up as your healed selves and be honest about who you are and where you're at and what you want and what you need, rather than trying to reassume roles that you know kind of worked to keep each other in one another's lives, right? You may have to be vulnerable enough to say, if you're this person over here, this is why I am the way I am, right? I feel like this whole situation in my life, had I not watched somebody stay and not choose me, right? And they're getting, whoever this is gets triggered because this person doesn't choose them, you know, but they don't like to choose much of anyone because then they feel like they're stuck. But that triggers this person. So there needs to be an honest conversation of like, I don't feel like my parent chose me. I don't feel like I was important enough for them to just to do what they needed to do to be there. Well, guess what? Deep down, this wound is the same. This person feels like their parent didn't choose them, right? They didn't fight for them. So it's like you both have the same exact wound, but you express it in a different way, right? If you could get to the bottom of that, the fact that you both have the same feelings of not being enough, not being chosen, not being supported, not being a priority, I think that you would come to a really great understanding with one another because you wouldn't feel so alone, but you'd also realize like why you always come back to each other, right? Because you're the same person. You're literally the same person with the same core wound. It's just being expressed different in a way that will trigger each of you to have to grow if you want to be together. Like you can't not figure these out and make this work. And I feel like that's kind of the knee jerk reaction because you miss each other. It's like, you know what, let's just pretend like nothing happened and let's just go back to whatever. But that's never going to work because this is a relationship that truly came into your life to trigger you, right? To make you have to face that original core wound. And the both of you, your wound is exactly the same, right? You just express it different, you deal with it different. And I feel like if you could find the balance between the way this person gives it all and this person gives nothing, or this person stays forever and this person leaves, you know, like I said, you're on opposite ends of the spectrum. If you could find the balance, and learn from each other, right? That could be what is missing. That could be the missing piece, is being open to change. You know, with that death card, I don't feel like you have to completely change on your own, but maybe just being honest and then being open to the idea of change is enough to create some safe spaces for the both of you, right? Hey, this is why I am the way I am. I understand how that affects our relationship, and I'm willing to try. I'm willing to work on this, right? All right. Yeah, this is definitely a twin flame connection. And with the strength reverse, I think you both are getting sexually frustrated, because when you have your twin, and you have physical relationships with them or relations with them, it replenishes you, right? Versus if you have a physical relationship with someone who is not your twin or their karmic partner, it just depletes you completely. So it seems like the both of you like are wanting that like resurgence of energy that the two of you create when you're together. So sexual union, honor the place in one another where you are one eternal soul, for there you will find true bliss. Bottom of the deck, embrace through each other you find the missing pieces. And that's exactly what I'm saying. This person is your other half. They have the key that you need, right? Whether you're the one who feels like you need to leave as soon as it gets bad, or you're the one that feels like you need to stay forever. Both of you have the key to what the other person needs, like to feel safe. You just have to figure out how to make that work for you both. And with you not feeling like you want to be vulnerable, it's tempting to want to create this old paradigm just to be in one another's space. But like I said, it's just going to cause more heartache for you, and it's going to compile on more animosity between the two of you. So if you are the Aries that's watching this, or you're watching for an Aries, and you get that offer of like, hey, I need you now, I want to see you, like, you can take advantage of that invitation to perhaps have a difficult discussion that really looks like it needs to be had, right? There's no gain in ignoring the elephant in the room. You both want each other. You're both frustrated that it's not working, and if you don't want to waste more time, you need to get to the bottom of why, right? All right, Aries, good luck with this. I will speak to all of you again soon. In the meantime, take very good care of yourselves.